What's up, guys? It's your tour guide here. Uh, OTG in the house. Hope you guys are having a fabulous Friday evening. Um, we just, Young and I just live streamed. We interviewed Simple Simon. We love that guy. Um, he's our bro down under. And yeah, it's just nice to catch up with him. We were supposed to have Comic Slim on our channel, but he had some work come up, and so he can join. But hopefully he'll hop on tomorrow and help co-host with us. We're going to be interviewing E-Man from from his channel, which is the C-List Villains, channel. So go check all of those great Asian community members out. I can't say enough about how great they are, and just so glad to have them part of our AAPI comic book community. All right, so this week was we picked up some books. So let me just backtrack. I was able to sell some more books. We added actually about I sold the books for like $33, so we had $40 going into the start of this week, and that's a lot, 40. So I thought it might be a good time to go to Destiny City Comics, use my comic card. I still had about $11, a little over $11 left over for store credit. So he, the credit I had left over, he gave me a gift card to just come back and use whenever. And I had a book reserve there. That's our book of the haul, actually. It's a book I reserved maybe a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was last month. And a book I've always been wanting to add. In fact, if you go back and watch my videos last summer, it's one of the books that I had on my list that we were trying to pick up. And on multiple occasions, I almost pulled the trigger several times on eBay, but I'm glad I didn't. Because we got it today, and we got it for a really good price. So we'll get into that. But yeah, just went to Destiny City Comics and pretty much picked everything up in this haul there. I did stop by Hill of Comics again. And there's a book right now at Half Price Books that I'm going to pick up. It's a Jim Lee book. It's sitting there, but it's not really a book I like. Again, at Half Price Books, you have to pay $2 for that book. It's a modern book. That's as low as they go. I mean, they have a quarter bin, but in terms of things out of the bargain bin, everything's half a cover unless it's under. If it's under $2, half a cover, then they charge you $2, which is, I think, not a great policy. But anyway, this particular book is $2.99 cover, so it's going to be $2. But we may pick that one up. I'm still thinking. I'm debating. There's not a sense of urgency to pick that up. And if someone else does, it's not the end of the world. It's a Jim Lee book I can probably pick up somewhere along the road. It's not like a rare book or anything. And the condition is just, it's like borderline. It's, I think, like VF copy. So we're just debating, do I pay $2 for that book, pick it up? We'll see. But The Jim Lee book count is at 313 now. We've picked up 2 more Jim Lee books. Really happy with the Jim Lee pickups. And you'll just have to see if that is the book of the haul or not. But yeah, let's get into the haul. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. And we'll just get started here. So most of these are dollar bin pickups. Yeah, most of these are dollar bin pickups. And the thing I like about Ethan's dollar bins is like it's not, the condition isn't, I mean, they're not, obviously they're kind of reader copies, but they're like better grade reader copies, meaning like it's still the cover's still attached. There aren't rips and creases. It's really, a lot of it is just like pressable defects. So, you know, like fine copies sitting there in his dollar bins. So that's what I appreciate about his dollar bins. And this one we picked up, really nice condition and a real key book. So we picked up Wolverine Origins 11. Now, the book that precedes this is right now on the trending 20. It's the first appearance of Dakin. And this is his first sort of, I guess, full appearance. But it's also his first full appearance where he's like, where you know it's him. It's like he's out of like disguise. So yeah, it's a key book. I'm sure I think there's some spec around this. This is available for sale or trade, so you know, hit me up if this is a book you're wanting. But we got this for $1. It's a really nice pickup. So as you know, we picked up 8 books for about $20, and you know, this book kind of by itself is the value of what we spent. So right off the bat, you know, I feel like I got really good value out of this haul. 8 books for $20. This is the first. Again, it's $20 book with the potential to go up even further, depending on how that Dakin introduction pans out. All right. Next book. We have this on our wish list. You know, Joe Madureira is one of my, and you know, we recently had John Boy Myers on, and John Boy was just talking about the artists that, you know, he idolized, and Joe Madureira is one of them. And Joe Madureira was, when I was collecting, you know, when the X-Men were at their peak in the 90s, and Joe was on that uncanny, you know, he kind of filled the void when Jim Lee left. Yeah, he kept, you know, that X-Men title really, really one of the top titles still at the time. And so I've always been a fan of Joe's art. He's got a very like unique comic book art style. Really, really action, you know, packed storytelling in his artwork. So always loved his work. Well, we picked up Marvel Comics Presents 89. This is Joe Madureira's first work in comic books, first art published by Joe Madureira. We got this great Sam Keith cover that Madureira inked. There's a lot of, there's, you know, multiple stories in here, but you've got Dan Slott writing a story in here. You've got Joe Madureira artwork. You've got Sam Keith artwork. You got Jay Lee artwork. Just a lot of goodness and talent in this one comic book. So nice you know, kind of minor key to have, I guess. Um, Love that cover right there. Pretty nice, pretty dope. Sam Keith Wolverine cover. Um, yeah, I told myself, I didn't want to stay away from, like, stop collecting Marvel Comics Presents, but um, a book like this, I mean, I can't say no. And we got it for $1, so I just feel like for $1, yeah, it will. This is a book I'll keep in my collection. Um, Boom. All right, moving right along. Another artist. This is another. So it's pretty much an artist pickup here. All the artists that I like. This one is definitely one we've been wanting to pick up, and we found it for $1. So this was the perfect time. Superman 202. Just a fabulous Michael Turner Michael Turner cover here of Superman. Yeah, Michael Turner goodness right there on Superman 202. Joe Kelly story. Good stuff. This one does have quite a bit of like issues, but nothing that would make me want to like not have it in my collection. I'd say it's a solid, fine copy. Like I said, a lot of the condition here is really, really decent. All right, so this next one was just sort of a key that we wanted to add. I think right now X-Men is really popping. The X-Men animated series has really gotten, I think, the comic book community just excited about all the older books, which is great. I think anytime you can bring in that younger crowd that was watching the animated series, have them go back and relook at the comic books that they probably weren't collecting because they're too young, to go after that kind of, because they probably got into collecting after they watched that. So to kind of go back and collect the stuff that wasn't, on their radar, that's great to see. But what's nice is like all the books that were in my collecting era are just getting love again. X-Men 25, Wolverine 75, like first appearance of Alpha Flight, some of the Alpha Flight keys in X-Men. Just it's generating a lot, and it's spreading because you were getting Spider-Man the animated series. We're probably going to get a bunch of other Marvel animated series now. It's just going to turn into like the DC animated thing where they're just going to integrate everything and have your own animated universe. So that's great. And I think the kicker is that the animated series are staying so, like, they're basically integrating comic book stories as is into the comic books. You're getting pretty comic accurate transitions, and that's what I think the fans have really responded well to it, especially the comic book fans. The comic book fans are the ones that really just kind of really pleased with what they're seeing, and you're seeing the best reaction from our community, me included. I am not watching it, but I'm hearing what's happening, and I'm just like, yeah, that's a key move. It's like that's a good way to go about the story, and it's everything we love about my era of comics. So just love it. So we picked up for $1. I've always loved this cover. It's Alpha Flight 12, and this is a key issue. It's the death of the Guardian. He dies. And this is sort of marks the end of, like Byrne comes on for a couple more issues, and it kind of then, I mean, this is Byrne's baby, right? Byrne kind of sustains his creation of Alpha Flight through this new series, and this series is widely popular at the time of its release. But then when Byrne leaves the book, I think this book struggles to find its identity. It has a lot of artists like cycling through. Jim Lee works on the book at some, down the road at some point. And I've always, my connection with the story has always been Byrne Claremont's original introduction of Alpha Flight back in Uncanny X-Men 120. So that's just amazing stuff. You got the Canadian X-Men versus the American X-Men. Great battle there, and then they create their own team, and you got just these great another sort of adjacent team, Canadian team, that's really cool. So it was really good, and then it just kind of loses interest. And I know Alpha Flight, I don't think they have a running series or title now, but I know they've launched Alpha Flight a couple more times, and you have fans out there with Alpha Flight is kind of what I'm trying to say. I'm one of them, so I would love to see Alpha Flight get love and continue along, running in parallel with the X-Men. That'd be just great to see. And of course, keeping the core identity of this original team. I know the team cycled out pretty much everybody on this original team, but that'd be nice to Aurora, North Star, I think Puck died at some point, Sasquatch died. A lot of the original members died, so I don't know. It's tough to sustain a team like that when you killed off most of the members. So anyway, this one is just a key Byrne issue for me. So just beautiful Byrne cover art right there. Got a newsstand edition. This one's actually pretty decent. Put in the VF range, but the press could be really, really nice. But again, these aren't books that were necessarily where condition is so important. We got it really for the comic book art. And this next one's really, it's just, when I found it, I was just so happy for $1, because I've been kind of looking for, I've been running into a lot of Brian Bolland art. He's just done a lot of really neat covers. And I've been kind of holding back from purchasing just any Bolland art. I kind of want to just pick up the Bolland art that really speaks to me, the stuff that was wow, that's really good stuff. And we found one in the dollar bargain bins. I just love this. I just love this cover by him. It's really, I probably want to get this in higher grade at some point, because it's not an expensive book. I could probably pick it a near mid copy for up for $1 or somewhere around there. But we have one copy now. If we can find this in higher grade, we will. And that is Action Comics 609. We've got this just amazing Black Canary cover there. Get into focus here so you can see it. Boom, there she is. Looking Stella. Dynamite. All right, so yeah, but as you can see, there's a big corner crease right there. So, and there's that corner is just kind of beat up. That's the main issue with the book. So yeah, I wouldn't mind having this in higher grade. Um, but yeah, we kind of grade Brian Ballin. Nothing key about this issue, just a cover by, but man, what a cover by it is. Beautiful, beautiful cover right there. All right. We picked up 2 Jim Lee books. Both are actually books that have been on my wait list for quite some time, so kind of happy to find them and get them off the list. One we paid $2 for, and that's this one. It's X-Men Wildcats, or Wildcats X-Men Golden Age. This is actually the Jim Lee cover. The other cover is by Travis Charest, and this is just 90s goodness right here. Wildcats X-Men Golden Age. So, just that nice cover here, Wolverine and Zealot by Jim. Yeah, this is technically Marvel Comics, so this is technically, I think, Jim Lee's last work on Marvel, technically, right? This whole Wildcats X-Men sort of run. So that's when we picked this up for $2. This was in the bin, in his regular bins that he had Ethan had priced for $2, so we picked that up. This next one's a dollar bin pickup, and it's got a little bit of a corner issue. And the spine has some spine ticks. Corners are rounded. So this is a fine copy, like I said, reader's copy. We've got Wonder Woman 175. This is a key Jim Lee book. This is Jim Lee's first Wonder Woman art, his first art of Wonder Woman in comics. And he would go on to do, of course, Wonder Woman many, many, many times throughout his stint there at DC. But back in 2001, he was kind of doing everything in Wildstorm, worked in Marvel, and then boom, he gets to play in a new sort of sandbox with all the DC characters. And his first Wonder Woman is, no, I can't speak for interior, but I think interior, whatever it is, he only does a cover on this, but I think this is his first art on Wonder Woman, interior or exterior. So we've got this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Wonder Woman cover here. Bam. Whew. Just such goodness right there. 2001, Jim Lee. First Wonder Woman art by Jim. Man, is that a glorious book right there, or what? So yeah, we've been wanting, these are 2 particular books that have been on the wait list for quite some time, and we now have them in our collection. So again, this one's near mint. This one again is a fine copy, but again, this isn't one necessarily I need in a better grade. Now that I have it, I'm just happy to have this as my copy, unless I can pick a better copy up for like $1 or less, which is plausible. I could probably find this in a 50-cent, probably find it at at Russ's 50-cent bins for 50 cents or probably find it. I don't think I'll find it at Hella Comics, but anyway, there's ways to run into this. So if we run into a better copy for less than $1 or $1, we'll do it. If it's like $2, maybe. Definitely, if it's a newsstand, we'll pick it up for whatever, like $2. But direct, I think it's good. Satisfied. All right. Whew, just showed off a lot of. Gonna give you some more Jim Lee goodness to just look at. Got the foil Divine Right #1. Boom. Yeah, some Jim Lee goodness right there. All right, so we have one last book. It's the Book of the Hall, and it's a low grade copy. I think though, with a clean and press, it could be. We could get probably up to like a 4, 4.5. As is, I want to say it's a 3.5. But with a good clean and press, you would probably get up to like a 4.5, maybe even a 5. But we'll see. But I mean, we need, again, I think this is definitely a book when Roger and I connect and he has the bandwidth to start working on books. This is one of the books I want to send. I also have another one in mind, but this one is definitely at the forefront. And it's a big book. Again, it's one we kind of thought we would pick up last summer when we had all this like summer income money for comics. But I'm glad I held off on it because at that time, I think we had a couple VF copies we were looking at for like 65, around 70 for the book. So it was a lot. I mean, it was like, fine VF copies, I would say. This one's, of course, lower in grade, but we picked this up for $11. And $11, I'm telling you, man, low grade is better than no grade. And for $11, I felt like it was like a pretty fair deal. But we've picked up Thor 337. Just a Copper Age classic right here by Walt Simonson. The first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. And Beta Ray Bill's kind of has been teased in the MCU. They've, I think, teased images of him, and as a comic book character, he's very entrenched in the universe, the Thorverse, the Thor lore. And so, yeah, just kind of like you're seeing all this nostalgic kind of homaging going on in X-Men 97. I'm sure when the Thor animated series comes out, the first thing they're do is highlight this character. And again, it's just been one of my kind of like, I have been concentrating on sort of like Copper Keys, the key books in the Copper Age, and I kind of try to pick those up. I do want to pick them up. For me, it's just having it is the main thing. Like trying to spend big money to get like high grade copies of everything. Is not kind of what I'm trying to do. Like I have this right here. It's got It's got pressable issues. I feel like this one also, the reason it's low grade, I mean, it's a complete book, covers attached. It's got this very distorted spine roll. So if you look at the back of the book, it's like, you see it's rolled so much, you see like the interior pages kind of fanned out. That's what we have on this book. But you also have a pretty big crease going across the corner of the book right here. And you've got just like some dirt or speckled or some kind of residue there. I think there's some ink on the bottom there. It's just got a lot of issues. Does present really well, so if I ever get this slabbed and graded, again, I just by eyeing it, I think it's a 3.5. But if we can get it squared, pressed, clean, maybe get that gunk off here on the side, you see right there. I can't see why this wouldn't grade closer to mid-grade than low grade. So I have my fingers crossed on this one. So anyway, $11 for first Beta Ray bill. I'm happy. I think it's a great deal we got. It's not like horrible, and it's a newsstand copy. So boom, that's your book of the haul. Nice and sweet. 8 books, $20. Again, got a lot of value. I think. Well, not a lot of value out of this. It may be value out of like this book. Those are the 2 big books. These other ones, they're just sort of more for me. These are like my PC books here, like this kind of stuff. You shouldn't be paying a lot of money for these kind of books, But yeah, we picked them all up for pretty much $1, except this one here. This is the only one we got for $2. The rest of these are dollar pickups. Dollar pickup, and the big one, $11. But I think well worth that spend. So yeah, I guess we'll get into grading these. I'm not in the grading mood. I'm not in the grading mood right now, but I guess we can do some grading. I do want to kind of clean up the Beta Ray bill, so let's do it. Let's start with the Beta Ray bill. Let's start with that one, and we can kind of see what the issues are in the book. And you can let me know in the comments whether you would have picked up a low grade Thor 337 first appearance of Beta Ray bill newsstand for $11 or not. Maybe you would have, maybe you wouldn't have. Let me know. I don't want to get terribly into the book. I just want to give it a nice little wipe down. Maybe try to wipe off that gunk there. Just sort of do a prep for Roger down the. So, this is a book. If we send books to Roger, this is definitely one of the books I am targeting. All right, so we got the book here, and yeah, from the front, again, it's in real. You can see from here, kind of see from the surface that needs a press, right? You can see that. You can see that it needs a press pretty badly. But yeah, once it is pressed, man, it'll look so nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clean it up here a little bit. get this, let's get this little cotton pad going. Got some bleach on here, just giving a nice little dab. Just washing the surface of, like wiping the surface of that book up. Not bad. Yeah. It's got some tan pages there. Awesome Walt Simonson art there. Pretty rad. Okay. Yeah, I don't think, just give it a little nice little wipe down here. Should be fine. There we go. All right, that's as good as that's gonna get. And I'm gonna just show you what I mean by the spine roll here. You can see, it's rolled and it's kind of got this fanning action going out. Back's not so bad either. Again, I think with a good press, some eraser time, there's no rips, like I said. It's actually a really nice copy that can, again, with some TLC, this could be a really, really, really nice, mid-grade presenting book. So yeah, very excited. As is, I'm going to put it at a, with the staining there and stuff and that crease, I'm going to put this at a 3.5. I'm going to put it at 3.5 but it has so much potential to be higher. So that's where we're going to leave it. We're going to land on a 3.5. Beta Ray Bill, first appearance for 337. Big book. I mean, it is a big book. So I'm excited. Nice copy. Well, not a nice copy, but a low grade copy of a big book. So for me, that's a good day at the comic book shop when we can do something like that. Let's see here. Put this in. Boom. Okay, so we got it in 3.5. Let's do that. Just grade it in our little spreadsheet here. Thor. This is actually my first Thor book in the collection, which is kind of, Thor's not a character I got into. Don't have much exposure to Thor outside of like his appearances in like other comic books, I guess. We're gonna put this at a 3.5 with an asterisk because it needs a press. There we go. Nice big book that we picked up. All right. Very happy with that. The other ones, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna bother to really take out of the bag and board. We're gonna do a sort of a in-bag grading here. Let me show you what's wrong with this book. We've got a little bit of a corner. See the little corner crease right there? Very small, but it's there. It's very visible. We've got the edge wear right there. You can see sort of creases along the edge. We've got spine ticks, maybe like, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, that bright color, rounded corners overall. So, this is say a solid fine copy. We'll say we'll go 6.0, right? Yeah, I'll go 6.0. We'll go 5.5. 5.5. Can benefit from a press, no doubt, but we'll go 5.5. But again, a key Jim Lee book, so I'm sure I'll run into this book again at some point, but finally in the collection. Just beautiful first Wonder Woman art by Jim Lee right there. So yeah, that is just a dope cover. I got Superman laid out with her holding his cape, tattered cape. It's Jim Lee. It's Jim Lee goodness right there. All right, next book. Same. This one is actually. I have to take this out because I see a little corner issue there. I don't like when I see that. All right, so we're gonna put the book down here. Got a little bit of a corner thing going on here. You see it right there sticking up. So we're just gonna roll it back down. There. Now it's looks sharp. In fact, that doesn't even break colors, so I'm just gonna get that stuck to the, make sure it doesn't move around a little bit. We're just gonna do a light, get it wet with glue a little bit. Then we're just gonna massage, keep it flat. That's all we're gonna do. And that will hopefully hold its position. Just remain that way. All right, so as you can see, we got, how about I have it out, just show you what we're working with here. Got a little corner crunch right there. A little bit of it breaks color, but the press, it should be fine. This is just overall, it's not so bad for a dark book. See the color, a couple spine ticks there. Corner crunch can probably be pressed out. That corner there needs to be pressed. Got this beautiful back cover of Mojo. Joe Madureira back cover there. That's really nice. Yeah, again, not too many issues. So yeah, with a good spine, get that corner crunch resolved. This as is right now, I would say this is a fine copy with that corner crunch. If we get that pressed out looking better, I'd go fine plus, maybe BF minus. Yeah. So right now, as is, we'll put it at a we'll put this one at a 602. Maybe 6.5. This one's spine's a little better on this one than the Wonder Woman. So we'll give it a 6.5. Where is it? Marvel. Okay. Marvel Comics presents 89. We're going to say 6.5. Yeah, 6.5. Again, the corner crunch is the real issue. If we can get that resolved, I think this could bump up to a 7.5 easy. 7.5, but as is, I will say 6.5. All right, next book. This one I'll take out. I actually want to take a look at the interiors because it's Michael Turner interiors, and it's always a good thing. So this one has creasing, but it doesn't break colors, so it's in bad need of a press. You can see right there. There's like mild creasing there. And we've got lots of spine ticks here, color breaking spine ticks. So yeah, we need a press. I think with a good press, those creases will come right out. You won't even know they were there. We've got sort of a top like bend here. Let it come into focus, please. There we go. You can see the bend right there. Breaks color. Got some little spine ticks in the back. So yeah, I think with a good press, as is, I'm gonna go. We'll go 6.5 on this one as well, but with a press, I think it could probably get up. Again, there's this corner issue there. How well that presses out is the big question, and of course the creases will press out. That's not that big of an issue. But as is, we'll say 6.5. With the press, I think realistically you're looking at 7.5 max. So Superman 202. We can go 6.5. And we're going to get into this Michael Turner art here. Oh, wait. Yeah, Michael Turner art. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Look at that right there. Beautiful. Oh my God. Just glorious. Look at this page. Wish I could just have that right there. Slamming. Oh my God, that's so good. All right, we'll get into some other artwork here, but here's a nice last page there to leave you with. Oof. For $1, yes, every time. Delicious. All right. Very, very nice pickup there for $1. Okay, so I think I said 6.5 on this one. Let's go to the next one. This one's like a 7.5. Again, it's got a little bit of a corner issue there. I think with the press, this could easily be like an 8.5. No creasing really. Spine is pretty clean. I mean, it's got pretty, for the most part, sharp. Well, not sharp corners. It's got a dull corner there and a dull corner there, but that might put it in the, I think, yeah, I mean, it's probably an 8.0 at maybe at best, but I think, yeah, potential to be 8.5. So I'm going to put it at an 8. I'm going to put it at a 7.5 right now. And with a press, we're going to think, we think it can get to an 8.0. So maybe 8.5. I'm going to put this at an 8.5. I mean, 8.0. I don't think there's just not enough like minor issues. This, like I said, the spine's really clean. It's got a couple spine ticks. It's got a couple of little, like bends, like what do you call them? Little, little bends in the book at the top, but nothing major, nothing like color breaking or anything like that. So I'm gonna go 7.5 on this. I'm gonna go 8.0 on this. Actually, I'm gonna go 8.0. I think with the press it can be an 8.5. Just a beautiful copy off of Flight 12 newsstand. I'm gonna say 8.0. No. Yeah, 8.0. It just looks really, I'm looking at it right now. It just looks, let's check out the back. The back's gonna let us know if it's 8.0 or 7.5. Okay. So yeah, it needs a press. There's little indentations there. And again, the spine, a couple issues there. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'll say 7.5 now. Looking at that, that's not good right there. So the front didn't look so bad, but the back has quite a bit of, it breaks color right there as well. So yeah, we'll go 7.5 on this. Again, even with a press, I think it'll be a 7.5. I don't think it can. We'll go 7.5. A press is just going to clean it up a little bit. Maybe get to an 8.0, but glad we checked the back. So it'll be a 7.5 with or without a press. Just readjust that. Not an 8.0, 7.5. Yeah, always helps to look at the whole book, the back of the book, because you can't really tell from there. The back was, there was a good deal of edge wear on that one. All right. Ooh, careful. All right. Just really love this book, this Stern book. Really, I think I am going to try to collect the first, the Byrne, with the all the issues that Byrne worked on Alpha Flight. This is just one of his, I think, core works in comics. So yeah, it's a good thing to target, and they're cheap. Like it's not a big lift to pick up. I could probably go out online and pick up the entire run for like $20 or so. So we'll do that. All right, Bolland. This one, like I said, got some rounded corners. This corner is really like, it's got a crease right there, but it's just tattered, as you can see. Maybe you can't see it. There you go. There's a good angle. And then you've got this like 2-inch long crease right there, breaks color. But the rest of the book is pretty decent. The spine's not Spine's not horrible. Got a couple of spine ticks. It's really just that corner crease on this beautiful Ballin cover, man. Oh, man. Oh, man, this is just glorious stuff right there. So I don't know. I think Brian Ballin is moving fast up the list. And you know, the more stuff like this I find by him, the more I want. The more I want. All right, so Action Comics 609. We're gonna go. We'll go 4-0. No, we'll go 5-0. Yeah, you know, that's the major issue with the book. So that's a 5-0. The rest of the book looks really, really decent. So it's not like it's tattered. Just that one corner there and the crease. So I think 5-0 is fair. Yeah, 5-0 is fair on that one. Now we'll go 4 or 5. Just thinking that crease is, even though it's the only issue, it is kind of enough to, you know, I think I'm one of those people, like, the creases really bother me. I don't know if it bothers other people, but creasing on a book is pretty cumbersome. So that right there is large enough to be very significant. So, you know, this would be high, probably along the higher grade scale if that weren't there. But because that is there, I would land it square as a mid-grade copy. But because of its length and because it's color breaking and so stark, I'm going to just drop it a notch below 5-0, so 4-5. I think that's fair. All right. This is near mint. Everything about the book is really clean, so I'm going to just go 9-4 on this one without doing too much thinking about it. Again, great Jim Lee cover. And really a great, I mean, we'll never see this. I don't think we'll ever see this come to anything. Wildcats X-Men, that's going to be like, this is just going to die with my generation, I think. We're just never going to get it. If we don't see it within the next 20 years, it's just something we'll never see. So, I don't know if you're a younger person and you're watching my channel and you are influenced by what I say and do, go out and, first of all, go out and read the Wildcats and go out and get this book. And then, yeah, you're good. All right, so this one here, again, we picked it up for $1. I think it's a solid VF copy, maybe VF plus. So let's just kind of take it out, because I know if someone's interested in buying or picking this book up, like trading for this book, I want you to have a good idea of like its condition. So yeah, again, it's the first sort of full appearance of Dakin, I guess, Dakin. And as you can see, sharp corners, okay. No creasing. There's a little bit of a spine, like you could tell this was maybe you can see it right there, a little bit of a spine It's probably stacked on some books, so that can be pressed out. Spine is really clean, as you can see. Have a spine tick there. Spine tick there. Maybe a spine, like a little bit of a corner. Oh, hang on. Yeah, thought the spine was split, but no, there's just a little bit of a issue there in the corner. Not big. It's like a manufacturing issue. Nothing like a spine split or anything. Let's look at the back. Yeah, the back's pretty clean in terms of the spine. Really decent. Again, it's got that it needs a press, no doubt about it. There's a little bit of a indent there on the bottom. You can see it right there. Again, the light here. Right there, you can see it. I can press out. Nothing like a rip or anything like that. Again, the corners are very sharp. So I'm going to put this at an VF plus. We put it at 8.5. I think with a solid press, we can get it to a mint easily. The solid press. So we're looking at anywhere between an 8.5 and a 9.2 in terms of the condition. So there you go. First appearance of Dakin, where we get to see his face and everything, like his first, I guess, revealed appearance, not in the shadows appearance. There is such a thing. All right, that's our grade along. Let me just put that in the system here. Wolverine Origins number 11. We're gonna put it at 8.5. All right. This is where we just talk about things that have been going on. I'm just gonna get a couple of books. I'll be right back. All right, I think we're down to the last episode of X-Men 97. Right? I think this coming week is going to be the finale. And, I was in the comic book shop in Tacoma, Destiny City Comics. If you're in Washington State and you haven't been to Destiny City Comics yet, you've got to go there. It's a great little comic shop. Ethan, the owner, is fantastic. Everything's priced fairly. Yeah. Yeah. Go check them out. But we're in the shop and we're talking. Really, there were a couple people in there, and everybody was talking. The Dakin is a cool cover. Cool cover. Yeah, Dakin has a cool cover. I think you're saying like Frank Castle. I can't read like the comments because there's this like like little button there that I wish wasn't. Anyway, can't really do anything about it. Oh, cool cover with Frank Castle. Okay. Again, I'm not into the current comic book runs. I do see like the reasoning why you'd want to maybe create the progeny of superheroes. It's kind of like it makes sense to have superheroes go through an arc of life, and an arc of life is finding love, having kids, maybe. That's one interpretation, right? But yeah, you have all these like sort of next generation, you know, the ones that the kids kind of latch onto. So if Dokken is that guy or if X-23 is that guy, I'm fine. Just never, let's not kill off Wolverine, or let's not, you know what I mean? Like, let's, at least not in my lifetime. If you want to kill him off after I'm gone, feel free to. But as long as I'm still around, Wolverine should be, head honcho with the kids. Yeah. Yeah. Simone Bianchi. Nice artwork, yeah, for sure. This cover here is Joe Quesada, but I think you're right. Like some of the run that on Dickon that he's doing is Simon Bianchi. Okay, cool. So I went and got these two comics. Okay, so we're talking about X-Men Night. So we're in the shop. We're in the shop talking about shop stuff, and we all love what Marvel's done with X-Men 97. Even though I haven't watched it, I've watched clips. I kind of know what's going on through what the community's saying, all the spoilers in the community. So I know they've just done a chef's kiss, integrating all the stories from my era into the 90s series, right? So it's a series set in the 90s, but they're really pulling from the source material that came before all that 90s stuff. And they're staying true to their comic accurate costumes. All the characters are comic accurate. The writing is apparently really good. The music is good. I mean, it's just overall like just I think if there's one fault that you could probably improve, it's the animation quality. But apparently, the animation quality is really good too, and it's in that original sort of 90s animated style. I think moving forward, though, like if you're looking at bringing Spider-Man, all these, I think there's room to improve the quality of the animation even more, make it more fluid, make it more frames per second, like just have it more lifelike, or anime-like. But we'll see. But as is, people love it because it's like kid-friendly. It's the adults love it. So we're talking, and then obviously we're talking like these two comic books here. These have been in my original collection since these came out, and I think a lot of what the community right now is saying about these two books is when these issues came out and when you read them, it was like, whoa, what did they just do? They just basically tortured like Wolverine and then took away his like invincibility factor. Like before with his adamantium skeleton, you couldn't really like hurt him, right? You could give him a bunch of like flesh wounds, but he would instantly heal, right? Whereas now, if you have regular bones, you could really like do some painful damage to him because now he's just got regular bones, which will heal. Yeah, but, will heal, but there's a difference between like having that armor of invincibility in your skeleton versus like having your skeleton just being able to be broken. So when they did that, it was like just a huge like mind mess. Like it messed with you. Like how are they gonna get the adamantium back in his body? How are they gonna? Because mind you, that process of grafting that adamantium to his body was a freaking like a horrific traumatic event in itself, and then he goes through this trauma again because his body just doesn't, it's in such a state of shock. His body literally like starts doing this to him, like his healing factor goes like nuts. And Magneto does a real number on him, and Magneto, like, he was kind of saving this as his like trump card because he's always like, you were kind of annoying. You've been just an annoying gnat in our past, like encounters. I'm just gonna take care of you, and I'm gonna make you so like anemic. It's not gonna even be funny. And he just literally like just pulls all the adamantium, like just rips it out of his body, and it's not a. It's pure evil, is what it is. So I'm glad, at least, they kind of like hinted that Magneto was right and all this stuff, and like, they're kind of pointing him like he might be this like anti-hero or whatever, but no, Magneto was right, but he's still an awful person. So that we were talking about that, and then we got into talking about like what's going to come up in the next couple of seasons, and I think we landed because I said what makes most sense is you're going to bring the big baddie of the 90s as the baddie of the series. And who was the biggest baddie of the 90s? You can make an argument for Apocalypse. Age of Apocalypse, he was a big baddie in that one. You can make I think an argument for Magneto. You can make an argument for Magneto, but the big baddie has got to be Onslaught. And we all agreed, I think they're queuing, everything's being queued up for Onslaught, either in the next season or at least the final season. So, Onslaught is one where he's such a big baddie, you have to incorporate help from everybody. So, cue the Avengers music, cue Spider-Man, cue the whole Marvel freaking universe to respond to the baddie. And they can kind of circumvent Age of Apocalypse, where you can create maybe a time displacement, introduce Onslaught as the baddie, kind of mix the best of both worlds for a time displacement Age of Apocalypse / Onslaught. And again, this is my thinking, and introduce animated 2099, which is the result of Age of Apocalypse, right? You could do so many things, but the main things would be you'd integrate alternate universe versions. Like, again, who doesn't want to see Wolverine? Like, who doesn't want to see Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, the one with an amputated hand, the one clawed. He has an eye patch too, right? He has both eyes. No, he has not. No, he has both eyes. He just has a missing hand. No, I think he's got an eye patch too. I just can't remember right now. I gotta look that up. Why do I think why am I thinking he has an eye patch? No, he never had an eye patch. Um, Although you would look badass with an eye patch. I just need to make sure he doesn't have an eye patch. Yeah, no eye patch. Just one, just a missing arm. Um, like who would want to see that, right? Who would want to see the because Magneto's good in that. Magneto is the good because Charles Xavier is not part of that universe. Again, Legion kills him, sparks this sort of alternate reality. Um, so yeah, I think you're gonna see some amalgam of I think Age of Apocalypse and Onslaught. Um, and you're going to see I think what you're going to see is you're going to see an incorporation of more Marvel characters outside of the mutant universe, just more superheroes, and then you're going to see spin-offs. You're going to see Iron Man spun off. You're going to see Thor spun off. You're going to see Hulk spun off. Just everything that Marvel kind of was like, I guess, um, hoping to do in the MCU, but I think you have another sort of sandbox to introduce um, more of the comic centric stuff, which the movies have kind of gotten away from. And I was always, I think all fans were just kind of like, yeah, the MCU's great, but they're not comic accurate. And I don't see why they didn't take that route in the first place to be more comic accurate. Um, but here's a great sort of alternate channel or venue to do all that. So yeah, I think again, I don't think you should rush out and get 9 8 copies of these. I think what's fun to do on books like this is not go out and buy a slab and pay whatever it's going for. Just go to your LCS. They'll have a near mint copy there for like 15. This will be there for $15, maybe less. This will be there for less than $10. Just go there and pick up a raw copy. Look at the grade, grade it yourself. And if you want to slab it. But these books are just great reads. Got these really cool ass hologram Gambit and Wolverine holograms too. I mean, these are must-haves for the collection. Absolute must-haves, and they're not terribly expensive. I mean, before this series, these are you could probably find them in the bargain bins for like a couple dollars. Now, probably not. Probably now everybody's gonna price them up to like 10 or 15 till the fervor dies down. But yeah, um, I would get them. I get them sooner rather than later. They're not ever going to be expensive books. But if you want to pick them up for $1 and get lucky, that's fine. But I think at this point, the ship has sailed, and collectors are going to start looking for these two particular books, and it's such a big, huge key book. You talk to anybody collecting the '90s, if you didn't go out and get X-Men 25 and then follow it up with Wolverine 75, I mean, you just were not a comic book fan. Even people who weren't into X-Men got those issues. It was just the sort of like shocking sort of news event of the 90s. Like one of them. There's a lot, but this was like definitely up there. So, yeah. Oh, man. Good stuff. The other thing I wanted to mention was they revealed the David Cornsweet's Superman suit. And I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. Um, but they're saying maybe they're teasing Brainiac. LexCorp Towers there, but the laser thing there, it kind of screams like maybe Brainiac is behind that one. Um, but essentially, what they did with the suit was the they put the sort of the old school symbol, the red black symbol, sort of the more like Kryptonian design symbol that was introduced in, I think, it was introduced in like, anyways, introduced recently, like maybe the past, I want to say maybe 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. Um, they made it red and yellow. Okay, so they took like the red black design, made it red yellow. Then they took Superman's uh, New 52 suit, the one with the collar, and the more sort of like futuristic metallic looking suit, I guess. They took that one and they put it on him, but with red underpants. So it's a New 52 suit, which I hated because they didn't put the red underpants on there. They took that suit, put the red underpants on, and they went to all this trouble to like, I feel like, appease everybody, right? Kind of like the people that were like, oh, we don't like the underwear, we like the New 52 version. They gave them that, but then for the people that want the underwear like me, they just slapped the underwear on. So at the end of the day, no one really gets what they want. Um, and I think the suit looks just a little bit not like Superman. You know, it just looks like he looks like a cosplayer, to be honest. Like it's like, just like a cosplayer who just decided, I'm gonna make a costume and wear it around, and this is my take on the Superman costume, rather than staying, like I said, modernizing the Christopher Reeve costume, where it's more of that spandex kind of tight fit material, but basic, right? You don't have all these like intricate kind of like textural like design to it. It's just smooth, right? It's form fitting. I really thought that they would do more of a Reeve style suit, classical look suit. I am disappointed with this sort of, but you know what? They're they're trying to sell Superman to a new audience, and I get that maybe that change in design has to be there for people that maybe give Superman a chance or have. I can see how it, like visually, yeah, the suit maybe is more acceptable to maybe somebody who wasn't into the Superman of their grandfather's generation. But it's giving me a little bit of pause. I gotta say, I was just kind of disappointed with the design. It had just a weak kind of like unimpressive look about it. Um, like they didn't even, I don't think they tried to Photoshop and clean it up, which they'll do in post for the movie, but it looks like they didn't do it for the photo shoot or the photo that was swapped in there. This looked like it was very loosely put together. Like I don't think that was even a shot from the film. It was probably just him doing a pose for the thing, and they put some background on there. Or what, I don't know what, but I hope they don't mess it up. I really don't. That's the thing. Like that's another thing we're talking about in the shop. Ethan and I, we're so excited for the Superman movie. That's the thing we're most excited about. We both agreed on that. Um, as great as Deadpool's going to be, like what they're going to do with Superman, I think is just going to be so epic. But that's what we're hoping. But there is a possibility that Gunn could screw the whole thing up. Now, I'm not at that point yet, but the suit thing is giving me a little bit of pause. I think, yeah, he's trying to make Superman he's not trying to do anything that's been done before. That's apparent now. So my sort of nostalgic, I hope he does more of the Reeves style and all this. That's getting to be less and less of a possibility. And either I can just accept this new version of Superman as I can just accept it essentially and go with the flow because I love Superman. As long as they're core to who he is and his character and the story's good, I can do that. But part of me is kind of also like, how far is he going to take that? I understand he wants to make Superman his own, but how far is he going to go with that? At some point, you have to like. It's a beloved character, and if you can't get things like the visuals right, then you're. I think you're taking too much creative license with who the character is. The visuals aren't the character, right? It's like half the character. The other is what they do, what they say, and the situation that they're in. But again, the new 52 suit look with the underwear, not a great look, giving me pause on what Gunn has in store to do with the character. And I just am worried. I'm really worried because my heart's in this project and I want to see it succeed. And if they botch up some of the basic stuff, then we'll just have to see. So Norrin Rad is a Rad Art and Comics is saying Onslaught leads into Legion's quest. Legion tries to kill Mags, but kills Xavier instead. Oh, okay. The Phalanx Saga. Yeah, I think the Phalanx Saga is also the Technovirus. I think we'll see that in. I think we'll see that more of that in season 2. To be honest, I know we're getting kind of like. Again, they haven't stayed true to like a linear timeline. They've just picked and chose like various comic book comic book stories and kind of mixed and matched them into this first season. I think we'll see more of that in season 2, but the sequencing is very important, like you said. So you're saying season 2 we'll see Onslaught leads into Legion's quest into Phalanx. I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking they're going to introduce the Technovirus first, and then they'll lead up to Onslaught. I think Onslaught's going to be the big baddie, because what that's going to force on the kind of enemy that Onslaught is. What's going to force is like again the heroes to the other non-mutant heroes to get involved help take him down. And then when they do take him down, it's going to give just a nice segue into doing more animated series and branch out from into each title, into each comic book title, right? And then you're going to have, eventually you're going to have like, you know, the Thor animated series. You're going to get the introduction of this incredible Walt Simonson story, right? So that's just my take. I think we both agree. I think you're going to see the mutant virus. You're going to see some form of time displacement with Legion killing Xavier, and you're going to see. I want to see, who doesn't want to see one-handed Wolverine, right? Hand amputated Wolverine, one claw Wolverine. Who doesn't want to see him with Jean Grey? They're lovers in that timeline, right? Who doesn't want to see an evil Cyclops? the Cyclops, the Havoc and Cyclops, the evil brothers. They're kind of like the Summers, the evil Summers clan. Who doesn't want to see a good Sabretooth? Sabretooth is good in that. What up, E-Man? Thanks for joining, bud. Who doesn't want to see a good Sabretooth? You know, with Wild Child and Sabretooth, right? I would love to see them introduce Sunfire in the Age of Apocalypse costume, because that's one of the badassest comic book costumes ever. Age of Apocalypse Sunfire, which I'm just going to pull it out. I'm going to pull up. I have the cover right here, so I really hope just the speculation part of what they might do with the seasons 2 and 3 really help. Like, it makes comic book collectors go out and get more and read more 90s X-Men stuff at the end of the day. And I'm loving it because I already read all of it. Well, for the most part, read most of it. But yeah, I mean, if you get to this Sunfire right here, right? If you can introduce that Sunfire, okay, it's not coming to focus. The Joe Madureira. We're just talking about Madureira. This is Madureira goodness right here. Prime Madureira. That's goodness right there. Boom. The good Magneto. Good Sabretooth. Oh man, that's just Age of Apocalypse. So yeah, I mean, right? And these have been like dollar fodder books for so long because this was a beloved, mind you, this was the title of the X-Men around the mid 90s. This event like incorporated I think the whole Marvel universe timeline shifted. It didn't affect just X-Men titles. Like Spider-Man went to like, what was it? Yeah, like every title got affected. Like Spider-Man had its own Age of Apocalypse like spin. Oh no, it didn't. Sorry, no. Only the mutant titles were affected. What happened? I think they just paused. They paused all the other titles, and they created like, as a post event, they created the 2099. But yeah, I mean, it was like a big event where they paused all the titles because they just blew up the universe, right? So there's no Punisher, there's no Spider-Man, there's no Fantastic Four, any like that. It's just literally like a barren landscape where and a handful of mutants survive, right? And so, yeah, it was a big event in the '90s, and just really cool, like reimagining of all the characters in this, and it's where you get again one-handed Wolverine, the evil Summers brothers, Evil Beast. You get Evil Beast. That'll be a meme, I'm sure, of some kind. Um, just all kinds of goodness. And Bishop is like one of the keystones of that event. He kind of has the recollection of both worlds and understands, like, hey, we can return to, if we do certain things, we can return this universe, this timeline, to restore it to its original function. And it sort of revolves around that. All these little side stories. You got the young Cable X-Man running around. It was just really awesome stuff to be reading. So I know a lot of probably more modern comic book fans. I'm sure the more modern ones that are really into like reading comic books. I've probably gone back and read a lot of that older stuff. But if you haven't, I highly recommend reading, again, Legion's Quest leading up to the Age of Apocalypse, because, man, it's a 90s comic book. It's basically comic books at its best when it was evolving. And I would say that the 90s were not only a revolution and evolution, but it was an innovation for the whole pop culture industry, but specifically the comic book industry. And yeah, we just had a lot of stellar stuff come out from the 90s. And I'm just glad I was, this college kid just getting stoned and reading comics and what I mean? Like, you just would just, that's what you did in college. You just kind of got high, and you'd open up your comic book, have your headphones on, be listening to like, some kind of techno. That was like trending back then, techno, or like house music, and you read your comic book and just get absorbed and taken away, transported to that age and time of whenever you're reading. So good, awesome, good stuff. What up, Comic Vet? X-Men, Nathan Summers, maybe, yeah. Shi'ar War, that would be that would have been a great one. If they have enough seasons, that's another one they can do. They should do, I should say. Introduced, Scott's dad, Scott's deadbeat dad. Yeah, did a lot of stuff. It's a fun time. I gotta say, it's a fun time for the collecting community. To be getting. First of all, I never watched the X-Men animated series, so when they announced it, I was kind of like, No, I didn't watch it. I was an adult by that time. It was a cartoon, so I just had really this sort of this like low bar of expectation for it. But as it got going and I heard what was going on, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh no, they did what? Oh, they introduced two? They're going with what? And it just kept like week by week, it was just like this like love letter to the fans. Felt like it's a real love letter to the fans, and that's what I love about it because it's like it's a nostalgic look back at a time when the cartoon was going on, but its source material is actually much deeper, right? It's a love letter to all the fans that read X Men, um, that were probably raising the kids as well during the '90s, or maybe at least not like for my in my situation, I'm kind of caught in between. Like, yeah, I didn't really read the Byrne Claremont when it came out, but I was definitely read them in the pages of classic X Men. But like, yeah, if you were reading Byrne Claremont as a kid and you grew up, had kids, your kids would be watching the X Men '90s, right? And now they have kids, and you're just like an older guy who's has all the books, like from Byrne Claremont to maybe the '90s, like me, right? Like I collected that, and so it sort of encompasses this whole deeper culture of X Men. You've got multiple generations like being included in this in what's happening on the screen. Then you got a new generation who's kind of rediscovering. Um, and so it's just great to see. It's just great to like see. And again, I think sky's the limit with what they can do in the next couple of seasons. But looks like season one. What a way to end season one with you know Fatal Attraction, man. That's the way to end it. Fatal Attractions, Jesus Louises. Talk about talk about a traumatic event. You know, season one's ending on a big bummer. um, yeah. So Wolverine is going to have to. This is what's great about Fatal Attractions. Okay, I'm just going to queue up maybe another comic book, but so Wolverine. Now, mind you, I haven't watched any of X-Men '97. These are all my kind of theories on how what we're going to probably see in season two. But the season two is going to start off. Obviously, Wolverine is learning to adapt with his new situation, which is what he does in the comic books. And Wolverine actually takes off. He like goes to be alone. Um, he's got bone claws, which like just aren't as menacing, right? They're just like almost have no utility. It's not like you can do a little stabbing with the bone claws, but the bone claws will break if you get it, right. It's like they're bones, so there's not much you can do with like bone claws. um, they're almost like again they just kind of they basically take away his superpowers, so he's powerless. He's got his healing factor, uh, but he goes through his own little he needs the alone time to process what's happened to him. And season two is going to have some flashbacks. And the one thing he's going to flash back to is how they got the adamantium into his body in the first place, which is going to cue Marvel Comics Presents number 39, I think, 38, 39, 39. No, sorry. 79. Marvel Comics Presents 79, which is an incredible Barry Windsor Smith story art on the origin of the Weapon X program. Okay, I just cued you in on a huge Weapon X program. So Weapon X program, there's so many people. Sabretooth was part of that program. Like Omega Red, I think, was also a part of the Super Soldier program in Russia. Not the American one, but there's a Super Soldier. There's and Wolverine was I think the Canadian version, right? He was part of the Canadian version of that program. So it'll be interesting to see how those flashbacks. Well, first of all, we're going to see the flashbacks of him getting the claws. So that'll be a nice episode right there, the Weapon X program episode, where you have him in the tank, them grafting the adamantium to his bones as it's rehealing. But how much of the comic book ends up in that, we'll see. But that's, like the original Weapon X run in Marvel Comics Presents. That's like a 12-issue run. Well, because they're micro stories, right? They're micro stories. It runs with 12 issues, but I guess you could make an argument it's actually, if you condense and consolidate it, it's maybe like 5 issues, 4 to 5 issues in a regular comic book format. But still, 4 to 5 issues, that's like a lot happens there. And I think you'll kind of see that condensed into maybe 1 or 2 episodes in season 2. So you're going to get the Weapon X program right off the bat. And then, again, if you, with an anemic Wolverine, you can't do much with that, right? You're going to have some kind of time displacement, or maybe leave Wolverine, or just have Bone Claw Wolverine running around trying to fight, trying to be a contributing member. But at some point, the time displacement happens, and I think you're going to get. I think we're really going to see the Age of Apocalypse characters, and then you're going to have. It's going to be difficult. Well, because then you still need the superhero characters. So if you have the time displacement, you got to assume the superheroes survive that as well. Yeah, now I'm just getting into like stoned talk or something, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I'm just hopeful that they bring more of the comic books that I love into the floor, into the mix, because it's just been a fun ride to see all the books that like I've been targeting, because they were, some of the books have been in my collection, but a lot of the X-Men books I was targeting that are part of my era of collecting, that those are now, like, I guess, in demand. Or not, I shouldn't say in demand, but are on people's. People are wanting to get them now, whereas before they could care less about, like Love and Death, right? They could have cared less about Love and Death, but that's now, like, because of the series, it's cool. It's cool to go out and get that book now. And I just, each week after an episode, like, my comics, more and more of my comics are trending and on the top 10 lists and all that. So it's been fun. It's been fun to see, you know. I think there's still a lot of people are speculating on Sinister for the animated series as well. I know he was introduced, but again, I think the big daddy is Onslaught. So if you're going to go out and spec on something, get the Onslaught book, get the first appearance of Onslaught, which is, I think, X-Men. What is it? X-Men? Oh, hang on, I have it right here. X-Men 53. X-Men 53. Go out and get that one. That's a $25 book. I feel like it, you know, it may be selling for that now, but before all this, you could find it in the dollar bin. I think I got my 2 copies for half a cover. Something like that. Something ridiculous like $1.50 or something like that. Maybe $1 even. It was ridiculously cheap. So those you could probably find in the, like, you know, like finding the dollar bin still if you're vigilant enough. But if you're a comic book shop owner, and let's say I was a comic book shop owner, I'm not, but if I was, definitely going to the dollar bins, picking out all those X titles, putting them in nice bags and boards, and selling that stuff for book value as opposed to bargain bin value before. So, yeah, because that's the only downside of wanting those books now. So you could have gotten them cheaper earlier, but maybe, I mean, again, if you're vigilant enough, you can find them. But at some point, every comic book shop owner is going to reprice his inventory at some point. So if it's going to happen, you got to find those deals and find those books quick, because once they're repriced, they're repriced. What else? Oh man. Yeah, you know, I just really like where my collection is, like what it's growing into. I think I'm pretty focused on. I have a better sense of, like, you know, what I want to buy when I'm out on a hunt now. Obviously, if you get a lot of value out of something, like, you know, if we can get a $20 book for $1 or something like that, we kind of want to be around there. This isn't necessarily a book for my collection. It's kind of more like trade fodder, or something I'd sell, where we're kind of making money, or at least getting more back than what we paid for it. But then we have books like this, which are like, yeah, this is like a PC book, and you know, you're gonna have to pay for this book no matter what, right? You have to pay for it. So I want to, for me, like, having a good, like an acceptable grade, but paying the absolute minimum for it is kind of where we want to land. And I think that's what we have here. We have a low grade book with mid grade, I guess, potential with some TLC that we got for $11. And this book is down too. So, yeah, getting it for $11 when it's down is, I think, a good time to do it. This is one of those books, just, it's, there'll always be a book in demand, I think. Um, yeah, just all around good pickups. What do we got going on? Yeah, so the other big thing is uh, Ryan Odagawa. He's down, in Southern California, and I really want to just hang out with him. That's at the end of the day. Just want to go down there, spend some time with him and his wife. Kind of get to know them. Um, and just chill out with the guy. Just like hang out with him and kind of eat good Japanese food or whatever. Like eat good SoCal food. Um, and so he's invited me to. He got me a San Diego Comic Con, I guess, exhibitor pass. Um, and as long as I'm able to make it down there, I can attend San Diego Comic Con from the beginning to end, which is really like who wouldn't take advantage of that, right? So right now, it's going to be quite a bit of financial cost, but I'm kind of thinking with the comic book, so with the summer income that I'm delegating for comic books, and again, mind you, I'm not, I don't have work for the summer yet. I'm still kind of like in the process of trying to find something. But yeah, once summer gets rolling, and I imagine today was an absolutely gorgeous, fabulous day. I imagine what you're going to see more of the people that work weekends kind of drop out and say, "Hey, peace out. I can't work weekends anymore. I'm young. I want my weekends. I'm I'm quitting." You're going to see a lot of people. Summer break rolls around. You see people just drop off their weekend jobs, and so you're going to see a ton of like weekend positions open up, which is kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to work a nice weekend position where it's not terribly exhausting, where I'm not standing on my feet all day or something like that. I'm just, like something kind of accommodating, um, where you just really need to be present and maybe engaging. But outside of that, as long as you're there, you're getting paid, right? So um, it'll be tough kind of working a 7-week work week, but I did it last year, so I know I can do it. So for me, um, maybe work again. It's just one weekend, one sort of long, I guess, Thursday through Sunday that I have to take off. So Thursday through Sunday, 4 days. Um, but I'll have worked enough to have a good amount of budget where I can fly down there on like a budget flight round trip, or maybe just one way and one way. Sometimes those are cheaper, right? And then get a hotel, which I think in downtown is going to be impossible, but somewhere maybe just out on the outskirts. Um, and maybe that has a connection on to the subway in, like public transportation in, or maybe Brian, close enough to Ryan where he can pick me up and then we can go to the con because he's also staying with a friend um, closer to San Diego. So anyway, it's going to require some coordination, but I really want to head down there. Um, Now, I would love to also have enough budget to get books signed by Jim Lee. I think Jim Lee's doing like an exclusive, maybe CGC drop off type thing for San Diego, which means like you're gonna be paying essentially like close to one. Well, if you get it slabbed, right? If you get it slabbed, you're probably paying close to 120 a book. But if you're just doing raw, like signatures on raw books, it'll probably be something somewhere in the range of 75 per book. I'm really hoping there's like a package, like a Jim Lee signing package, where you just maybe pay for like $3-4, but you're getting them like closer to 50 per book, which is what I completely take advantage of. And I have the books that I want in mind. I've been just dying to get these books signed by him. But the more the better, right? So if it's 3, we'll take 3 books. But if it's 5, we'll take 5. But I gotta first have at least a bit of that income in hand to make all these reservations, to make all the flight arrangements, and to request time off for any of this to get off the ground. So Ryan, if you're watching this, just that's kind of the situation right now. I am planning to go, but right now, like certain things have to fall into place before I can really commit to making the reservational commitments, flight, hotel, right, and then coordinating some of the details. But once that's in place, and I can request time, and then once time is requested, I'm as good as there. So sort of a lot of variables that need to kind of happen before then. But I think we're, again, once the job falls into place and we have some budget saved up, we're not going to go crazy with the budget this year. We're going to save it for the most part for San Diego. And that'll be it. I'll just splurge everything in San Diego because, we're going to be eating, we're going to be going out, drinking and stuff like that. So just got to kind of save up for that. Yeah, that'll be a big. I don't think we're going to pick up much books at San Diego. So we're going to just focus on, again, getting the Jim Lee book signed. Just helping Ryan out at his booth, meeting creators in the sort of the after, after con meetups where the writers hang out, the artists and the writers hang out. That'll be cool. There's always the possibility like Jim Lee's hanging out with everybody and having drinks and I'm there. How freaking cool would that be to be able to like just drink? What if we're at Korean barbecue and we're having shots of soju? I'm having shots of soju with my idol, my Korean bro, Jim Lee. That would just be a dream come true. So there's that's obviously something that best case scenario, that's what would happen. But there's the possibility, right? Never say never. But either way, it'll be a fun time because I'll just get to hang out with Ryan and just really kind of support him and see the con through his lens as a creator. So Again, going down there to hang out with him, support him, enjoy the con, enjoy 4 days of San Diego Comic Con. It's my first time at San Diego, but um, probably be a memory that will stay with me for forever as a comic book fan. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so much to do. It's almost like overwhelming. It's almost like you don't want to plan too much. You just kind of want to go there and go with the flow. But at the end of the day, you're just like, dang, there's so much going on. You're just going to miss so much of it. So you got to focus on, what do I really want to get out of the con? Who do I want to see? Like, where do I want to spend my money and all that? So there's a lot of planning. So once some of those like variables fall into place, we'll really get sort of focused on. We'll get focused on what we want to do there and what we want to spend and what we want to get. So that's something to look forward to, or at least get updates on, right? But right now, let me just say this: right now, there's about a 2% chance I'll be in San Diego come July. Okay, there's like a 2% chance. So as we get closer, I'm gonna update you on this process, and I'll let you know. Like, I'll give you a week by week update. Okay, this happened, so we're now closer, or this didn't happen. We're still waiting for this to happen before I can move forward. But we should have like as we get closer, we should have a better time frame or idea of what we're going to do. All right, well, I think I blabbed enough. There's not anything really urgent in the comic book community I feel like it's worth talking about or exploring. It seems like, X-Men 97 has just been the talk of the town, for the talk of the shop for the most part. Well, I guess we'll end with completely kind of blocked it out of my head, but this month is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and Naman Young and I, and Katie and E-Man, and all the Asian American, Cantonese Comic Kid, all the Asian American comic book community members, we've kind of been getting together, celebrate the month, meet up with the guests we've been able to connect with, who are willing to come on our channels and share what they're doing or share what the month means to them. So it's been great. Ryan did kick things off to start the month. Then we got our good buddy John Boy Myers. He came on, and then we just spoke to Christy Shin, aka Demon Bitch, last night. My first time meeting her virtually, but she was just hilarious. And again, I have a new appreciation for her work. And then, we're gonna have more guests upcoming. But there are 3 guests in particular that I'm not gonna. I mean, one we've scheduled. Or sorry, 2 we've scheduled. So I guess I can tell you when they're coming on. So Porn Sec Shit Show is coming on the show this coming Friday. So a week from today, he'll be on our channel. but we're going to be broadcast live streaming at 9 a.m. on Friday Pacific. So if you're a fan of Hornsec and you want to, catch him on the channel and see what he has to say about uh, the Asian American Pacific Islander Month, Heritage Month, learn more about his Thai heritage, then come hang out with us next week, next Friday, the 17th at 9 a.m. Pacific. We should have like thumbnails or announcements or something on our social media. So if you really want to like stay tuned to when those things pop out, follow us on Instagram, either me, Naman Young, K-pop Junkie, E-Man's channel, or Cantonese Comic Kit. We're all kind of promoting on our channels, but that's a big one. The other artist that kind of worth highlighting is John Jiang. John Jiang is going to come on. We don't have him scheduled as of yet, but he's got a I guess a crazy con schedule. But we're close. He's just kind of, I think, waiting to get all the con stuff out of the way before he can like take a breath and kind of commit to like a time and a date. So we're just waiting to hear back from him. But Bernard Chang, legendary Bernard Chang, has already scheduled with us, so we'll have him on the 27th. And I have to check the time, but it'll be sometime the 27th. I think the evening. We're planning to do the evening. That'll be a fun time. He's just such a legendary creative, and it's just going to be fun to be able to connect with him. Now I already know, like, K-pop, she has quite a good relationship with him, and so she's going to be leading that conversation. But I just I'm just going to enjoy every minute of hearing him talk about his work, what it means to be an Asian American, or he's Asian Canadian, I believe. Maybe he's American now. Thinking maybe no, but I think he's still Canadian, but he lives in the U.S. Anyway, we'll get to learn more about his roots, and and just talk about what the month means to him, what it means to be, an Asian American, and that'll be fun. That'll be just, I think, a great time. So already, like, this month has just been, beyond our wildest expectations in terms of community support, and again, connecting with just these big names in comic books. And we've got a lot of people coming on, a lot of creatives coming on. So I just don't want to focus on, like, the ones with sort of the bigger names, but we've got a lot of talented, great, just community members coming on, and we're all celebrating our community. So that's really what this is about. And we want to invite everybody to come in the chat. We're doing giveaways. Just coming and watching and chatting gets you entered into the end of the month giveaway. We're going to do a big hangout at the end of the month. So it's just going to be a great time. And 2024 is just, it's been fun doing this channel. But I think for me, like, when May rolls around and we have these opportunities to, like, do a special program that's dedicated to the AAPI comic book community, it's special. It's meaningful, especially for me. It's meaningful for me, and I'm sure everybody else who's helped, supporting to get this content to you is also very proud of just what this month means to all of us and what these creatives mean to all of us. So let's just celebrate. It's just celebrate's a good time. Weather's nice. You can come and find some time to hang out with us in the evenings, or in next week's case, the morning. We'd really appreciate it. So that is all. Again, thanks for hanging out, looking at my books, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how many more haul videos I'll have bandwidth for. Today is kind of a special case because we didn't have a long video in terms of our show with Simple Simon. So yeah, hopefully next week I'll have some bandwidth to do more of a haul video or whatever. I plan to go. I've got about $32 left.
お外でオーロラ見た。
いいね. All right, that's me. That was my boy. He's not asleep yet. So yeah, just we're gonna do more of these kinds of haul videos if we can, but if we can't,
見ないのオーロラ。
大丈夫。
見た
今
ことある。
ある？
そうだよ、もう消えちゃうよ。
Okay.
もう
All right,
まで見えない
we gotta go check out the aurora. All right, I'll see you guys later. どこにある？
見てほら。